Sharks are a keystone species in the marine ecosystem. As an apex predator, they keep the ecosystem in balance, and without them, the entire food web will collapse. Sharks are vital to the health of the oceans and to our existence on this planet. We must protect them. Seahawk is on a mission to help researchers and advance the protection of sharks. Seahawk became involved with Operation Swimway in 2021.
We work a lot with Yacht 8 Global, which is a nonprofit. And since we have done work with them before, we contacted them and saw what was available here in French Polynesia. And they suggested, with a group of scientists, one coming from the University of Hawaii and one from France, and they wanted to tag the tiger sharks to see their migrational paths to try to protect them. And so we tagged some tiger sharks 2 years ago, and then we put in the receivers so that every time that this tagged shark would come by, it would swim by, it would ping, giving the scientists better knowledge of what their migratory path is.
After 2 years of being underwater collecting data, Seahawk has returned to French Polynesia to collect the receivers and deliver them to the science team.
So hi, I'm Clémentine Seguin, and so I'm a shark researcher at the IREMP, who is a private research institute of French Polynesia. And so my goal is to study the tiger shark movement around the atoll of Tuamotu.
Along with the local guides from Tahiti Private Expeditions, the dive team located the receivers using GPS coordinates.
There is a life to the receivers. They're battery-operated devices, and so at some point they stop functioning just because the battery dies, so there is a practical limit. There's also clearly a motivation on the part of the science team to get the data that's been acquired in their hands within a time frame that is useful so that they can analyze it and perform the science that is at the root basis for the effort.
The objective of Operation Swimway is to try to put different receivers in different potentially important spots for tiger shark ecology, in order to maybe identify roads that the animals are taking, and then propose to the local government to develop new marine protected areas.
How do you detach it? Do you have to undo a knot or a knife?
I have some tools.
Oh, okay.
Spanner.
Nice work. Look at that. Yes.
A total of 6 receivers were retrieved by the Seahawk team.
I'll meet ya. I will drive.
So this project is really super important because sharks face a lot of threats, mainly from fisheries. But it's true that in French Polynesia it's a shark sanctuary, so fishing is completely prohibited there. But it's a so wide area, it's 5.5 million of kilometers square, so it's quite difficult to manage all this big territory. So that's why we want to know which are like the most important shark areas. And so this is a challenge because like French Polynesia is super wide, but there is as well another challenge, is like some of the favorite places that sharks are visiting are like the Tuamotu passes. And so these reef passages are really challenging for the field work because it's super strong currents, and it might create some risk, particularly because you have to think about your dive planification, and as well because we decided to deploy the receiver at 30 meters, so we have to take into account like our decompression, for example. So we learned a lot of information from the precedent campaign. Like for instance, we had some tiger sharks moving from Tahiti to really remote atolls, and some of them were crossing a distance of more than 900 kilometers, so that's really impressive. And particularly the fact that they do that every year. And as well we discovered that there is probably some preferential spots for tiger shark ecology, so that's why our second mission is focusing more particularly on these spots.
Yacht Global is interesting because through their network of private vessels, they've been able to supply the means for the scientists to access these devices. We're one vessel, and we've done some of this, but there are other vessels that are working in collaboration. One consideration is that to produce effective data, the receivers have to be put in places that are very remote. And this presents a bit of a challenge because to reach the receivers and either install them or replace them requires a significant vessel to achieve. Seahawk in this case has served that role, at least partially. We put in a number of receivers during the 2 years we've been involved in the project. And in the case of needing to either retrieve the receivers or install them, the help of a large vessel is sort of a prerequisite.
So working with yachts is just amazing for researchers because it gives to us nice opportunities to do field work in really remote places. For example, we made a field work here on Sea Oak in Taanea Island, and Taanea Island is somewhere where there is no airport, for example, so it's really complicated to reach without like this kind of support. And as well with the help of yachts, we were able as well to finance some device for acoustic tagging, and so this is as well super helpful to like extend the limit of our research and collect more data.
Sharks and another marine life tend to concentrate in the passes of the atolls in the Tuamotu Islands. Seahawk helped deploy 6 new receivers at Tahania Atoll. The receivers were strategically placed outside each of the 3 passes.
So we really hope to have new inputs on tiger shark ecology, because it's again something quite mysterious. So for a research perspective, everything which is around like tiger shark movement or tiger shark ecology is super important. But as well, for conservation purpose, we hope that if we find important areas for tiger shark, we may be able to propose the creation of what we call a NICERA by IUCN, International Union of Conservation of Nature, which is like an important shark and ray area, and so it's a recognized area where sharks are here, for example, for mating, for foraging purpose, so that's really important.
Well, the only other comment I would make is that we're one vessel, it's a big ocean. We're trying to help and maybe move the needle a little bit, but we think by setting an example, it's possible that more yacht owners will decide to do something similar. And together, not only is it possible we may be able to develop this superior understanding of shark behavior, but also perhaps serve to materially preserve, enhance the species, its viability. And as a consequence, knowing we're really custodians of the ocean environment, human beings are, make sure that that resource, which is very important, remains viable for a long time.
Good news is we have the receiver. Bad news is I lost the spanner.
Uh-oh.
I went to all the engineers.
On the